The Arizona Cardinals upended the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. Kliff Kingsbury gets his first 40 burger as the head coach of the Cardinals. We see it in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Be sure to smash that like button. Post-game show, and DA didn't play their best football, but got the dub nonetheless.
Yeah, you got to be happy, guys, with just feeling Thursday night. You knew it was a quick week, and it was all the recipes for success. I mean, New Orleans was kind of down with some injuries.
Yeah.
It played right into the Cardinals' hands, and talk about that defense bailing the offense out again. I mean, that could be the thing.
In the first half, the defense kind of took the second half off.
Fair enough. But it was great. It was a lot of good things. Obviously, the defense, the pick sixes, D-Hop. I know that we're going to get into all of that, Frank, but just having Hop back on the field, I think his presence was the present.
Look, 16 targets. That many times you find a way to get a man the ball that you know you trust. You believe in what he brings to the table. The entire offense looked like it was different tonight.
Yeah.
And look, it's an exciting night for the Cardinals, man, just to have one of their star players back. But not only that, to watch him go out and make plays and dominate the game the way he did himself personally, but then to watch how everything else came together. The passing game opened up the running game. Then the running game began to dominate. Of course, thank God that we had a defense that gave us some points, went out and scored and put some points on the board to help the offense get to that point.
It's great to see. CDH410 in the chat says much needed therapy. Thank you. We're here to provide that therapy, the winning therapy here on Thursday Night Football. This is the Arizona Cardinals' first home victory since last October against the Houston Texans. So not quite a calendar year. They get that monkey off their back. They move to 3-4. Now they have roughly 10 days before they go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. This was a game, gentlemen, you absolutely had to have. Andy Dalton, Dennis Allen, as you mentioned, a bunch of injuries to the Saints team. Cardinals do not look right yet offensively, but the presence of DeAndre Hopkins alone, plus I thought the tough running of Eno Benjamin and your boy Keontae Ingram, that was the difference maker for them.
I agree. Just the ability to get those yards early. We saw Eno break off a run. We saw Keontae make some great plays after the catch.
Yep.
And just having that balance and coupled with having Hop out there on the perimeter. We saw Kliff moving him around with different sets. Frank, we talked about that, that 3-by-1. We even saw some bootleg today.
Yeah.
We didn't see many passes, but we saw those wrinkles that maybe Kliff was holding back because D-Hop wasn't on the field. But I think that this is more the style of the Arizona Cardinals that we're accustomed to, with them going out there and scoring a lot of points. I feel better about it, but I also know that it's context and that it's the Saints. It was a game, Johnny, that we would say that they're supposed to win.
Well, I also think that Thursday night, you try to get out with a W and move on. These games are ugly. We've seen it. They've been ugly on the offensive side. Tonight, ugly on the defensive side, Frank Sanders. But it's you take your chips, you leave the casino, right? You don't allow yourself to think about style points.
No, you really don't. We did enough in order to walk away with the victory. But here's some beautiful things we can think about.
Yeah.
We looked good. Like, the defense went out and made plays. They put points on the board. Right when you thought that you needed points, we got the points. We scored again in the first quarter. Things that we've talked about, making the adjustments that we had seen for the last 4 or 5.
As you would say, Frank, 3 points. 3 points.
Three points, right.
It was not a touchdown. It's still, what, Johnny, 48-8 or something like that?
Yeah, they've been outscored in the first quarter, I think 40+ to 6. They have not scored a first quarter touchdown, which makes the 42 points that they scored all the more alarming and impressive. But, I mean, 2 of those came from the defense. Marco Wilson.
I'm impressed.
Isaiah Simmons, back-to-back pick sixes. It was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it was.
And then the second half, gentlemen, we saw a little bit more comfort from Kyler Murray throwing the football, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Eno Benjamin. 12 for 92 on the ground, 7.7 yards per carry. Cody Ford and Billy Price doing a nice job up front. Zach Ertz making some tough catches. It wasn't pretty. It hasn't been pretty all year, but you want to grind out these W's when you can, and you try to keep yourself in a position like they are now at 3-4 to be in the conversation. Kliff still sucks, according to Scott J. A lot of people feel that way. Edwin Bramble in the chat is Eno RB1. He is right now. James Conner, I would imagine, was close to playing tonight. DA gets 10 days off, but Eno's in the rotation the rest of the year.
For sure. I think that he demonstrated that he needs to be on the football field. Guys, but we've seen this before, and the only thing that Eno can control is what he does with his opportunities. And we've seen him continue to be successful, guys like himself as well as Keontae, and just their ability to go out there and have those spark or momentum plays. I think that's the most important thing for that offense, because they've been stagnant. I think Kyler's had, up until today, had the longest play of that 42-yard run last week, and coupled with Eno's play today, just Hop's presence on the field. Like, when was the last time we saw Kyler just throwing rhythm, throw back shoulder receivers, and just feel comfortable out there with a guy that he knew that he could trust? And we saw like a little bit of maturity on the field between he and Hop. I mean, maybe not so much, but that's just the emotions of the game, Frank, of that back and forth with Kyler and Kliff. You know what I mean? Like that was an interesting wrinkle as well.
So if you missed that, I don't know how you did, but we're going to play it anyway. The engagement between Kliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, I believe this was in the second quarter. Look at K1 getting after Kliff Kingsbury. This was after Kyler went up to Kliff and said, calm the fuck down, as they were attempting to punch the ball into the red zone. I don't know what Kliff Kingsbury was saying. I'm sure they're going to get asked about it. I like seeing that from my quarterback, Frank Sanders. He's committed. He cares. He wants to win.
Look, losing sucks.
For sure.
That's right.
I mean, it sucks for you guys, and it sucks for us just as much. And I think that when you see that passion on the football field again, it changes the narrative of guys see what's going on. Men will argue and they will disagree, and if you do it on the football field in the right way, you still can move forward and still get back in rhythm of what you was doing on offense. And we had a chance to see that with this team. I don't mind the energy. I think that Kyler's taking all the initiative and all the weight of everyone saying that how bad Kliff looks, how bad the offense looks, and if we're not winning, it's all about our $243 million man. Guess what? Yeah. He's taking ownership of that, and that's what you want out of your quarterback, to take ownership of the wins and the losses. And he gets the ball in his hand. If he does a good job with it, they give himself a chance.
Niner fans, get out of the chat. Niner fans for life. No. We're not going to talk about the 49ers' gross overpay for Christian McCaffrey. We're talking about this dub.
He just robbed him, Johnny? Did he rob?
He tried. Robbed him? He's trying.
But, I mean,
no, go ahead.
But I think that, to your point, Frank, I feel as though that was a situation where Kyler was like, I got this. Like, I play quarterback. Like, just coach, Kliff.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, just coach. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I've been in these situations before. Trust me like I trust you. And you get heated in those games, and I'm sure he got D-Hop. Hey, man, throw me the ball. You know what I mean? In the corner trying to get opportunities to get the ball.
Don't get mad. I'm open, though.
Yeah, I'm exactly.
I'm always open if you have a problem with coach.
Always 24/7, 7-Eleven.
Can we just talk about something? Because DeAndre Hopkins makes a bunch of money, and he was hurt last year. He was suspended this year. He's got a cap hit, gentlemen, $30 million next year. And I know a lot of people, myself included, speculate, are the Cardinals going to pay him? And then you watch this team without him, and you watch him tonight. It's like, of course they're going to pay him that money.
How can you not?
This team is literally broken offensively unless number 10 is in your lineup. He is a savior for this offense. And I think Kyler Murray is a damn good quarterback, and I think he's going to have a much better second half. But a big part of that is because of the presence of number 10.